Welcome, I'm Bry the Builder, and in this video I'm going to be painting up these Makwa Marines from Jazza and the crew over at Tabletop Time. The Space Bears are a pretty incredible set of models, so let's get to it. I did also download a set of bases from my mini factory, and I'll leave a link in the description. As I printed all the parts, I did decide to leave the bear hollow, or make the bear hollow. So I do have a track running down his back to make sure that any uncured resin on the inside still has some room to breathe, and air and whatever pressure can escape, and the model won't end up exploding. This backpack section does have a couple options for what can go on it. There's either a shield or the big gun. I decided to go ahead and make my own shield as well, and I want to use them both. So since I like putting magnets and stuff, we're going to magnetize both of them so we can swap and have options. Here, as you can see, I've cut a bit of paperclip wire. It's actually just a pretty heavy-duty paperclip. Cuts really nicely with a pair of wire cutters. And for something like this, it really doesn't need to be any super heavy gauge wire. And the nice thing about it is it's flexible enough, or bendable enough, that after I've got him on here, I can actually still pose him a little bit and kind of get him adjusted. One of the coolest things about these Space Bears is the options. There are a bunch of different character poses that can all be mirrored. There are a bunch of different arm options that can be mirrored. So it's an almost ridiculous number of options that you have with this set of STL files. really do have to start using my airbrush more. The laying down base coats like this is so much faster and easier and gives a really nice even layer. You can just kind of keep going around. It's so thin and it dries so fast that you can really build up the color quite easily. So all these little guys really had the base colors lay down really nicely. And since they were primed with a really dark color, that underlying color is at least minimally beneficial to let the shadows on the undersides of stuff stay a little bit darker. I definitely didn't add as heavy of layers to the bottom sides as I did to the top sides of things. I didn't leave it black by any means, but I didn't want it as heavy, so not really a zenithal by any means, but the black base coat or the black prime did minimally help the base coat here. Having grown up in northern Wisconsin, I really do love black bears. There were places I worked where as I went and took out the trash at the end of the night, I got to be within like 4 or 5 feet, really, of a black bear. And they're really big, beautiful, impressive creatures. So, you know, they're generally pretty docile, actually. So this doesn't really fit. But if you had a psychic link with, you know, a marine, space marine, and you needed to fight, I think a black bear would actually be a pretty good way to go. I actually picked copper as one of the kind of main accent colors because of stories, again, growing up in northern Wisconsin, of the lost copper mines of Chief Namakagon. So I don't know if any of it's true. It might all just be complete legends of the Namakagon Lake region where I grew up. But believing those things, it lends me to want to add copper in here as an accent color. So I really feel like the copper works really nicely with the kind of cream and other tones or other colors I'm going to be using. So it all works out, but there's logic. There's actually reasons behind at least some of my choices. Since this is loosely, at least, set in northern Wisconsin, my Space Bears are loosely based on the Ojibwa Nation. So, with the Ojibwa Nation, there is a four-sided color wheel, essentially, that is white, yellow, red, and black. So I'm at least attempting to get some of the main colors from that, including the black and red, and eventually the eyes are going to pick up one of those colors. There's no real pure white. The feathers end up on the ends of these knives end up being white, but the cream kind of, I guess, buckskin almost color of the armor is minimally representative of the white, but is also representative of buckskins that early Native Americans would wear. So, you know, it's an homage. It's definitely not literal by any means, but it's my attempt at an homage to a culture that was prevalent in an area that I grew up. Initially, the shade is way too heavy. So as I go, I'm adding a lot of water and really minimizing the shade anywhere near the top of the model and just trying to push it down and keep it in the cracks and the lower parts of the model. But I want some of the tinting and staining from it. I like that more antique look, but it's way too heavy to start with. So as you can see, right, I'm just kind of using a lot of water to minimize the shading and tinting at the top and letting it stay heavier in the cracks and recesses and near the bottom. My kind of very last stage of highlight here is just going back around with my base color and just dabbing it until it builds up to that base color and leaves some nice deep dark shadows. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, please subscribe, and if you have stuck around this long, I really do appreciate your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.